How are you?
Good. I love your bucket hat.
Thank you. This is the new look that I'm trying to aim.
Is that a flower on it?
Yeah, it's a sunflower.
So
It's not a
pretty.
sunflower, I think.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you.
The last time we met and the only time we met was, I guess, NH7, where we got to have like 2 minutes worth of conversation.
उस टाइम दोनों इतने जल्दी में भी थे because
Huh.
you also had your performance and I was also going for my sound check. काफी काफी intense था. But how was
Yeah.
it?
It was great. It was my first festival. Um it was incredible. I think, I obviously there was a lot of feeling of shit, I would have done so much better. There were so many fuck ups, and I think, that would have been the case regardless of what happened on stage. But I'm just really grateful that it happened, and I got to meet so many of you and watch so many of you. Oh my god, I was blown away like constantly over the 2 days.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, even I met everyone from the past 2 years, like everyone like from the scene.
Yeah.
Of them were there, and it was so good. Like the energy was so good to meet.
Right.
Like it was a different feeling because you like during the lockdown, everyone was somehow connected
Yeah.
because everyone was doing something,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everyone like face to face was really amazing.
So what have
Okay.
you been up to since NH7?
Uh, मैंने सच बताऊं तो मैंने कुछ भी नहीं किया है पता है पिछले So I've been planning mostly. I've been I've been practicing and planning most of the things because I released an album last year. So
Yeah. Sad.
बस वो ही उसके ही around I'm planning ki what to do next, how to do it, how to do more music videos, how to produce more songs and stuff.
Yeah.
You tell me what's been happening.
Same. I could honestly start by saying the same. Zyada kuch nahi, but I've just been more than anything working on my musicianship, in the sense that I don't feel like I'm as skilled as I want to be, and I just really want to. So I've started learning the guitar properly, like studying it and learning music theory and all of that stuff, because I'm an absolute noob otherwise. I don't know anything. Like, I'll step into a studio and I like won't understand the jargon and I'll just be lost. So that's what I'm working on, to not be a lost artist. And I'm also working on an EP actually, that is coming up, but it's coming up really slow because it's the first time I'm kind of working on something that I'm sort of arranging myself, like all the instruments and all of that. So I'm working on that. It's coming up really slow. It's like 3-4 months slower than I expected. According to my plan, I was supposed to have already released the first single by now, but it's not happened. I'm just trying to stay patient and tell myself that it's a process and I can't rush these things. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
But it's great. I mean, I think great things take time. And it's great. I mean, वो क्या होता है ना जब हम उसको प्रोड्यूस करना स्टार्ट करते हैं so we give ourselves that timeline कि okay in the next 2 months I'm gonna kill it, but it doesn't happen. Like उसके बाद क्या होता है जब हम उस प्रोसेस में होते हैं तो नहीं यार ये करेंगे तो ज्यादा अच्छा लगेगा तो ऐसे. But like when did you start doing music professionally? कब ऐसा हुआ कि बस अब तो म्यूजिक ही करना है यार, like I'm done?
I'm a lockdown born artist. I had always wanted to, so since school and college and all of that, I'd always been doing solo shows here and there. I was in a rock band in college, and but I always put music as like something I would do on the side of like a job. And when the lockdown hit, I realized that literally the only thing that I wanted to do and the only thing that I actually found some solace in was writing music. And that's all I did. Like, that's all I did since the beginning of the lockdown. And just doing that and like putting it out slowly, from going from posting covers on Instagram to posting my original music and seeing the way that it was received, and people reaching out saying that they could actually relate and that it was something that they loved listening to was very new to me, because I'd never really shared anything that I'd written personally. And when it was definitely the response of my few listeners that encouraged me to write more initially. And then that started, and I was really, really eager to release something and have something on streaming platforms be that's mine. And so I didn't have the money to buy equipment. I didn't have much stuff, but I had this USB microphone that I'd had for years and I hadn't used. So I plugged that onto my Mac, opened up GarageBand, and I started recording. And my creative partner and boyfriend Pranay, he encouraged me to release it. He was like, he's a producer and a songwriter himself, and he said, you what you want most is to put it out, so I think that's what you should do. I don't think you should be limited by the fact that you don't have studios available to you right now, because everything was shut at the time, right? This was at the initial, this was the first lockdown. So that's where it started. We decided to just go with those USB recorded songs. He mixed them. I'm sure it was a horrible experience for him to mix that, and he produced it. We did whatever little we could, and we put it out. And after that, there was no stopping. I just wanted to continue to do that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
come out really well. Definitely, you are like killing it. So I mean, it's great because you have started it in the lockdown, and like even then you have evolved so much sonically. That I feel is a win. I mean,
Thank you so much. I think I've just been really, really blessed with people around me who support me. Like the first few music videos I've made, are videographer friends who had their entire crew and everything that was there to help me out. And without them, I really wouldn't have the visuals. And without Pranay, I wouldn't have any songs out at this point, because I didn't know anybody. I didn't know any producers. I didn't know any engineers to reach out to. So I definitely owe everything to these guys that have been there since the start. But I'd love to hear about your start, because you've been in the scene for like way longer than I have. And how was it for you starting and all of that?
I had a like very interesting journey, I must say, because I started doing music. मतलब बचपन से I was into music somehow, because my father used to play tabla and sing, and so like music was in my family. But I was always like, okay, I'll do engineering and then I'll do music. I'll do CA and then I'll do music. मतलब ऐसा था कि कुछ एक degree करेंगे and then I'll pursue it. Like when I was in high school, I was like later, like in 11th or 12th standard, I decided कि मैं क्यों करूंगा यार 4 साल या 5 साल कोई डिग्री और फिर म्यूजिक. So I started, like I had a band back then as well. So same like rock band, like where full metal scene, rock,
Oh wow.
all of that. Then I moved to Mumbai. और यहाँ पे in 2015 I moved. So then I joined this music school, True School of Music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was learning Indian classical back then. I was learning guitars back then in Indore.
Oh.
But then I came here, I started like meeting people. I interned in MTV Indies, if you remember. There was this music channel.
Oh yes. Oh, crazy.
I worked there for like 9-10 months, like when I first moved to Mumbai.
Yeah.
And I was in the True School of Music. And so overall, I was surrounded by many artists, musicians, and I had a band as well here as well.
Okay.
It was called Aankh Micholi.
Oh.
So we released an album, we released a couple of songs, but later, like इतना सब होने के साथ साथ I was writing my own music as well, जो कभी भी ऐसे डिसिप्लिन के साथ मैंने रिलीज नहीं किया था. फिर after a point I decided, okay, now I have to follow a discipline and release my music systematically.
Yeah.
ऐसे मतलब कहीं ना कहीं से घूमते घूमते बहुत ज्यादा, क्योंकि like when I started there was nothing, there was only YouTube. I mean, and जिनके गाने एप्पल म्यूजिक पे रिलीज होते थे, हम सोचते थे कि ये कैसे हो रहे हैं, मतलब यहाँ कैसे पहुंचते हैं. स्पॉटिफाई तो था ही नहीं, मुझे तो स्पॉटिफाई भी नहीं था यार, मतलब मतलब फिर मुझे, जब मैं म्यूजिक स्कूल में था, तो कुछ लोग जो ऐसे बहुत ही टेकी होते हैं ना, वो लोग
हाँ.
यूज्ड टू डू समथिंग एंड क्रैक समथिंग एंड यूज्ड
Oh
टू,
my God, I had cracked Spotify.
हाँ, you also did it. Yeah, so they used to listen to Spotify, and now मैं सोचता था कि क्या है Spotify, मतलब कि इतना क्या उसके लिए ऐसा क्रेज है, बट देन फाइनली Spotify came to India.
Yeah.
I उससे बहुत कुछ, फिर जो आई थिंक लॉकडाउन के दौरान तो
Hmm.
के लिए बहुत आसान हो गया रिलीज करना.
Hmm.
पहले बहुत ही वियर्ड था, क्योंकि कुछ था ही नहीं, मतलब एक
True.
बस यूट्यूब था, कुछ और होता ही नहीं था.
True, true, true. Yeah, I barely had any knowledge about this. I remember I had this VPN wala Spotify, that the crack that my friend had given me. And for the longest time, I did have a subscription also, even when it came to India. And then I realized it's probably shameful considering I'm an artist and I'm trying to do something there. And I finally had to get a subscription.
A similar thing happened because I was using only Spotify, like the subscription वाला thing,
Huh.
and म्यूजिक नहीं था मेरे पास, और यूट्यूब भी नहीं था.
Huh.
अब one day I was sitting with a friend of mine, और मैं ऐसे सोच रहा हूँ मुझे एप्पल म्यूजिक से अपना गाना शेयर करना है,
Huh.
या YouTube करना है, और कुछ हो ही नहीं रहा यार. मतलब इट वाज लाइक, बिकॉज इफ यू डोंट हैव एन एप्पल म्यूजिक सब्सक्रिप्शन, यू कांट
You
शेयर इट.
can't, yeah, yeah.
So I was trying to do that, and then he was like कि यार क्या कर रहा है यार, you guys are earning from it, at least have a subscription.
That's literally what happened with me.
Then I decided नहीं यार, ये गलत है, ये करना चाहिए मुझे.
Yeah, that's when I got all high and mighty. And for the friends who had VPN Spotify also, I was like, are you kidding me? Your friends and artists get Spotify now. But yeah, totally, completely relate. How is it like, considering the last 2 years of lockdown and everything, how has it been different for you in terms of how it was before pre-lockdown, both in terms of releases and live gigs and online gigs and just that whole thing?
For me, it was very interesting, honestly.
Mm. Mm.
I really like to spend my time alone. I mean, I love it. I mean, I can live without meeting anyone for days, and
That's
I
so
would,
cool.
और मुझे अच्छा भी लगेगा, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि आई लव मीटिंग पीपल, वो एक अलग बात है, बट
Yeah.
ऐसे अगर भी हो रहा है तो आई एम हैप्पी, आई एम वेरी
Mm.
हैप्पी.
Mm.
और एक फ्लो बन गया था ड्यूरिंग द लॉकडाउन, लाइक everything was like I was working properly. There was a discipline that I was following. So काफी कुछ तो, मतलब musically it was really nice. Mentally it was very weird.
Mm.
Uh, but definitely मैंने बहुत सारा म्यूजिक रिलीज किया उस वक्त.
Mm.
और I initially I hated online shows because my music is very, like, my music, especially my performance, is very interactive.
Mm. Intimate.
It's very like I talk to people, I
Right.
poetry. काफी सारी चीजें होती है जिसमें मुझे सामने लोग चाहिए होते हैं,
चाहिए, हाँ.
तब मुझे
Mm.
समझ आता है कि क्या हो रहा है. बट
Mm.
ऑनलाइन शोज में तो you had nothing, and the worst part is like when the show is over and you just leave the meeting and there is no one around.
Oh my God. Yes.
तो उसमें ऐसा लगता है क्या हुआ, मैं कहाँ था, ये क्या हो गया. तो वो काफी वियर्ड होता था. हाउ
Yeah.
अबाउट यू, लाइक डिड यू प्ले लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ गिग्स ऑनलाइन, कैसे क्या किया?
Yeah, I think for me it was the exact, I mean, kind of the opposite of the way it was for you, because I had not gigged a lot at all before the lockdown. I had only done like college and school stuff, barely here and there, and played like 1, 2 cafes maybe in Bangalore. And it was during the lockdown, after I started releasing, that I started to get inquiries for gigs and stuff like that. So a lot of my gigs happened online, and I became so used to that that silence, after you sing, and like I got used to that. That became the norm for me. And like you were saying, that feeling after you've sung and you've put your guitar away, you've said your goodbyes, and you take your headphones off and there's silence, and you're like, what do I do now? Wait a minute, like what have I just stepped out of? So I became incredibly used to that. But and for me, like I was saying, it was the opposite in the sense I stepped into the live scene after being used to the online scene, and that was just something else altogether. I mean, I stepped into it also how it was December last year. Yeah, it was December last year where I was opening for Prateek Kuhad, and that's how I went from having being in a quiet room to having that audience that I felt like I didn't deserve. And I don't know, that was just quite the thrill, and there is nothing that can replace live music. Post that, I've done a couple of gigs here and there and at 7 and all of that, but I didn't realize what I was missing out on until we started in December. But yeah, I believe I have a lot left to live in terms of live gigs, because I still haven't had the kind of gigs I want to have, which is intimate, like maybe 40, 50 people and just in a room, like a sofa sound sort of a situation. I still haven't had those intimate settings. I was directly thrown into like large audiences. So, I mean, of course, there's no complaining. That's given me the kind of confidence and empowered me in a way that I am forever grateful for. But I do want these, more intimate, interactive, quieter, smaller gigs, and I'm really looking
Are you
forward to it.
planning something? Are you planning some shows like that?
Yeah, we're kind of I have this event that we're kind of in the like that's in the works, that's going to be just as I described, like 40, 50 people um in Bombay itself. But yeah, I hope it works out. I mean, it's still very much in the like beginning stages, but I'm going to make this happen.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah, can you tell
But,
me about the feeling of these like intimate gigs?
so when so I was never a solo guy, as I told you. I was
Right.
with a band. Then I released in 2019. I
Mm,
released Khush To Hai Na, and
mm,
then a couple of more songs,
yeah.
and people started contacting me for these shows. और इसके पहले मुझे इतना पता भी नहीं था कि ऐसा कुछ हो भी रहा है because I was always playing these clubs and
Right.
college festivals and stuff. Then these guys, house concert,
Mm,
sofa, all of these guys, like I got in touch with them. कैसे ना कैसे हमारी बातचीत हुई
mm,
और I did a tour, I think.
mm.
Yeah, went to play a festival in Deep, Himachal. Uh, it was also a very cozy festival. Okay,
Mm.
80, 90 people were there. बहुत ही मजा आया,
Oh,
I think,
nice.
with house
Hmm.
concert. और वो बहुत अमेजिंग था यार, मतलब पहली बार ऐसा हुआ कि मैं पहली बार फील कर पा रहा था कि मैं सोलो हूँ सबसे पहले तो।
Mm-hmm.
और मुझे ना देखने की आदत है,
Um,
लाइक माय ड्रमर इज ऑलवेज ऑन द राइट साइड।
uh,
हम लोग साथ में 10 से 12 साल हो गए हमें साथ में प्ले करते हुए।
oh, wow.
Like me and Bharat, like we have a different thing going on the stage. So I have a habit to look at him like he's always here. तो बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी आदत हो जाती है हमें,
uh,
बट कोई भी नहीं है, हम ऑल अलोन। तो एक चीज बहुत अच्छी होती है जब आप सोलो प्ले करते हो कि कोई लॉजिस्टिक्स नहीं है।
mm,
साउंड चेक इज ऑल्सो वेरी शॉर्ट,
smooth. Right.
स्मूथ। और ऐसा होता है कि ये हो गया क्या, मतलब मुझे इनिशियल शो हो गया क्या, कि ऐसे लाइक व्हेन यू डू अ शो विद अ बैंड,
Mm,
बहुत जान लगती है।
mm.
इट्स इट्स अ लॉट, लाइक जो एनर्जी होती है वो बहुत ज्यादा होती
Yeah.
है। सोलो में थोड़ा रिलैक्स्ड होता है कहीं ना कहीं। तो बट व्हेन आई प्लेड माय फर्स्ट फ्यू गिग्स, और उसके बाद जब लोग आके मिलते हैं, या जब व्हेन यू आर सिंगिंग एंड पीपल आर सिंगिंग योर सॉन्ग विथ यू,
Yeah.
in like even people knew my unreleased song as well।
Mm, mm,
छोटी छोटी कहीं क्लिप्स डाली थी या ऐसे कुछ, तो इट वाज क्रेजी। मतलब
mm.
वो जो फीलिंग है ना, वो
I can imagine.
फेस्टिवल में भी नहीं आती है यार। फेस्टिवल
Uh,
see people, you can't feel that energy that much. Setting में each and every one of them will meet you after the gig and they'll bring something for you. कुछ ना कुछ होता है which is very beautiful. मतलब वो छोटी छोटी चीजें ज्यादा याद रहती है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है personally.
I'm sure that's the case. Like, that's all I want. That's all I want to experience. I love how, like, our experiences almost in every aspect have been so contrasting.
पूरा opposite है.
Like, I've never done a band thing. I mean, like, in terms of my own music, I don't even have a band yet. And the first time I did like a duo thing was NH7, and just having even one person is so nice. I want that feeling of security of like having like so many people with me. I haven't had that yet. Definitely looking forward to having a band.
When you're having a band, you have like, even if you do like कुछ गलत भी होता है ना, so it's okay.
You have each other.
Somebody will look at you and they'll be like, कर सकते हैं. So that moment is like, those moments are really special, and I think
I'll bet
उसका भी मजा आएगा. I think you'll enjoy that as well. Are you learning something? You're learning production, you told me, right?
Yeah, kind of, not exactly like learning production, but trying to arrange my own stuff, arrange my own instruments in the album, in the EP that's coming up. But I'm learning guitar formally now, because everything that I've done is by ear so far. And you'll ask me half the chords that I'm playing, they'll just be shapes that I made with my fingers. I won't know what the hell I'm playing. And you can't have that when you're working with other musicians. So that's what I'm working on right now, just to skill up. I loved your the I think it was the last video that you released on Instagram talking about SAR. I loved the way that it didn't feel like a promo video or anything. It felt so personal. It felt like you were in front of me telling me what your album is about, and that you think that we like it, and that you hope we listen to it, and what it means to you. And I think that was what drove me to go and listen to your album. So I'd love to hear about SAR.
I'm so glad, because हमारे पास कोई idea नहीं था to start the promotions of the album, but then came up with this because अभी तक लोगों ने मुझे बहुत ही ज्यादा support किया था. So I was like, I should put out a voice note with a visual of us doing anything, and just like telling people to go and listen to the album. Album का journey बहुत ही interesting था. Album की journey because we produced it during the lockdown only. So everyone, me and Sachi, we were in Himachal.
Yeah.
We recorded most of the album there. Then I came back to Indore because I moved to Indore during the lockdown. Right. So went back to Indore. I recorded some of it there. Then I was in Bombay. Then जो गाने थोड़े अच्छे से रिकॉर्ड नहीं हुए थे, we came back here, we re-recorded those. And I went back to Indore. Then I re-recorded some of it. तो मतलब बहुत बार recordings हुई है, क्योंकि I was like, मुझे जो exact feel चाहिए, मुझे वो ही चाहिए. मैं बहुत ही sure था मुझे क्या चाहिए. मतलब पूरे एल्बम में शायद कहीं ना कहीं मैं बहुत श्योर था कि मैं क्या कहना चाहता हूँ with every song, you know. And in an album you have that freedom as well, because sometimes you know that this song as a single, you cannot see it as a single, but in an album it fits, like, and it makes sense. पूरे एक story formation में भी it makes sense. So there were many songs जो मैं कभी ऐसे solo release, single releases नहीं कर पाया था, तो I put them in the album as well. और overall writing का process भी बहुत interesting था. I think even for you, I'm sure सब कुछ personal, कहीं personal जगह से आता है ना, so you can't fake it. I mean, कैसे करेंगे हम? मतलब मुझे तो नहीं लगता कि अगर like if we start faking it तो फिर वो लोग पसंद भी नहीं करेंगे.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think like generally with it being easier to market singles as opposed to EPs, I just don't see the work I do, like every song I create as just itself, like just by itself. Like for Things I Saw in a Dream, which was my debut album, EP or album, EP,
Four songs,
yes.
right?
Yes, no, seven. So it's an album only, but in
Yeah.
terms of the duration, it fits an EP. So I really don't know what to call it. But it was like I was in that state of mind for the 3 months that I wrote the seven songs in, and it followed a trajectory that even I didn't realize that it did. And it was an album because it was that within that time frame, it was what I was feeling, and it was me going through the motions, and that's the emotions was what I was trying to show in the album. So it made sense that way. And the second EP we released, sees, it was a more conceptual EP, so obviously it made sense together. And even this EP that I'm working on right now, one thing I've noticed happens to me is I have these 3-4 months of sudden bouts of inspiration where I'm able to express myself in the most accurate way possible. Because there'll be other times where I'll try to sit and I'll write a song, and it'll just be me trying to write a really good song, or me trying to be poetic, or me trying to rhyme, as opposed to those other times when it's actually flowing out of you. Right. And that has happened to me since 2020. It's happened to me only over like particular 3-4 month periods, and then there's nothing for like 5-6 months. There's just me trying to get something out. And what becomes the EP, what becomes the full body on right now is kind of like an anti Things I Saw in it, not anti, but like it's like almost contrasting Things I Saw in a Dream, because Things I Saw in a Dream was about being hopeful for the future, and it's all right, we'll make it through, like a feel good sort of vibe. But this one is the one that's coming up is all about the um, mental health struggle of the lockdown, about not being able to look up, about not seeing sunny days, about the exact opposite of everything that Things I Saw in a Dream it talks about. So yeah, I feel like I don't think I'll ever be able to release just singles, even if I do here and there maybe collaborations with people. But I feel like it'll always come to me, because it has, in like a full body of work in an album or an EP like that. Yeah, it
So
sucks
you,
that singles are easier to market.
yeah, that's true. But what I feel is like when a song is trending on reels,
Mhm.
it उसकी life कम हो जाती है. That's what I feel.
How do you mean?
Because people are just like, for example, and like let's not take an example, but if any song is trending on reels, people are just बहुत ज्यादा हो जाता है उनके लिए after a point. Like if that song is playing, they'll just like
Yeah. Fatigue हो
scroll.
जाता है.
So I feel it should not happen with good songs, because then people don't go to the streaming platforms to.
100%.
But it's again, it's the only way to spread and promote your songs as well.
Yeah.
Go midway.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. There have been so many times, like I've discovered a few really good songs from those trends, and when I actually went to like Spotify to listen to it, I realized how good the songs were, and it's just that I didn't want to listen to it because of how overplayed it was. And I hate that that happens. Like, yeah, I guess that comes with virality. But reels have definitely given me some really good songs.
That is also true.
Yeah.
But how you like promoting your music otherwise? Like, what are you doing for that? Like, any particular thing that has worked out for you? Like which is very personal to you? ये मेरे साथ ही हुआ है, something of that sort. Is there anything?
Um, so I think initially we used to really go down on how personalized we want the promos to be. Like, for example, for the first two EPs that we put out, we kind of reached out to these people who always, like these 10-15 people who always kind of showed up, whether it was during an IG live, or like always, there to support when you put out like a music on IG or something like that. So like a very we sent, I remember, so there were three of us at the time. I didn't have my management, and it was just the three of us, Pranay, me, and my brother friend, Dhananjay. And we had made like the small team called Team Maskey, and we had big plans for us, and we wanted to, like be our own management sort of a thing. And we would have these calls before our releases where we would discuss the different promotion things that we could do. So for C's, we had C's was my second EP. We had like we sent our entire album to just 15 people about 1 week, 10 days before the release. And we basically, for nothing, just for them to enjoy it, just because they supported us. And I think I really like that we did that. We stopped doing that somewhere along the way. I started developing social media fatigue because of how all through the lockdowns I was just on social media. I started getting sick of it. That resulted to it reflecting on my promotions during my releases, which is not good. So I took a break from social media for, I think, a long while, and I'm still kind of in that break, posting very like sporadically. But yeah, I think in terms of promotions, just having it be really personal to people who have always shown up is something that I used to do, and I really want to continue doing that. What about you?
It's interesting. I think that's the great way to go about it, because when you send your music to people before the release, they kind of feel special about it as well.
Yeah.
See, I did a mailing list kind of a thing long back, 2 years back, I think,
Yeah.
2 years back, and I used to send my YouTube wala video of the song that I'm releasing next day at 10 p.m. before the release day.
Yeah.
And people used to like post stories of that, and like even before the release you have a pre-promotional thing going.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. And even like post promotions, because back then there was a possibility of releasing your music and doing shows after that.
Yeah.
Now you can do it again, but in the lockdown you can't do it.
I think one area that I would love to hear from you about that I don't have much knowledge in would be like the networking aspect of being in the independent scene, because I mean, I've barely done any of it because of how new I am here. So how has it been for you?
मतलब मैंने तो एक चीज रियलाइज की है, बहुत ही सिंपल है कि इनिशियली इफ यू रिलीज योर म्यूजिक लाइक फॉर लाइक अदर पीपल जो जिनके एक या दो गाने रिलीज हुए हैं या जो कर रहे हैं, you will always focus, like what I've seen with people around me and people who like musicians who जिनसे मैं मिलता रहता हूँ, उनका हमेशा अप्रोच ये रहता है कि मैं एक गाना बना लूंगा and then I just create a great video and then I'll wait for someone to release it. I'll go to a label, or सबसे pre-plan होगा that I'll release it myself, or या फिर I'll have a great PR team for it. I'll pick a PR thing. I mean, all of it is great, but what I personally feel is you should have a plan, like a plan in terms of releases,
right,
in terms of your music. You should have at least some of it planned, और उसके बाद wait for it. I mean, people try to approach all of these media houses and publications and magazines and stuff to like put stories of their music and stuff like that, but not all of them will entertain you, and it's okay. I mean, उनके पास इतनी एंट्रीज आ रही होगी कि हो सकता है वो मिस कर जाए यार. It is all right, but what I feel is you should put out music, you should work on your craft, you should put out music, and you should keep doing it with a discipline. And after a point, जो मेरे साथ हुआ है, मतलब मैंने तो देखा है इसलिए मैं बता रहा हूँ कि
Hmm.
people will start putting it out themselves, like by
Hmm.
themselves.
Hmm. Hmm.
Content.
Hmm.
They'll publish your story, they'll write about you and stuff like that. So
Right.
what I feel is कि मतलब एक बहुत ही अच्छी चीज है, मेरे पापा बोलते हैं,
Huh.
बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग बात है कि वो बोलते हैं कि जब बहुत ही अच्छी मिठाई बन रही होती है,
Hmm.
बहुत ही अच्छी, ठीक है, तो वो बोलते हैं आप सारा कमरा पूरा बंद कर दो, सारे दरवाजे लगा दो, फिर भी उसकी जो खुशबू है वो पहुंच जाएगी बाहर तक,
Hmm.
है ना। तो वो यही बोलते हैं कि जो खुशबू है ना, वो जब फैलेगी
Hmm.
तो लोग अपने आप देखने आएंगे कि क्या हो रहा है अंदर।
Love that.
और मतलब अगर हम ऑनेस्टली, इफ यू आर डूइंग इट ऑनेस्टली ना, अगर आपके गानों में भी वो दिख रहा है, वो ऑनेस्टी दिख रही है, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि आपको भी फर्क पड़ेगा।
Yeah.
वो बुरा भी लगेगा तो वो 10 मिनट का बुरा लगेगा, एंड
Yeah.
देन लाइक ओके आई एम हैप्पी क्रिएटिंग दिस सॉन्ग,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
उसको करना है, करेगा, नहीं करना है, मुझे मजा आ रहा है। तो
Yeah.
आई थिंक पीपल शुड टेक म्यूजिक लाइक दैट ओनली।
Yeah.
मतलब लोग ना, कई लोग बहुत ही ऐसे सीरियसली ले लेते हैं
Hmm.
चीज, मतलब कि कि मैं कुछ बहुत सीरियस कर रहा हूँ, मतलब
Yeah. Yeah.
आई मीन कि मतलब मैं कई लोगों को जानता हूँ जो साल भर से एक ही गाना प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं,
Hmm. Hmm.
जो गाना अच्छा सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
दे आर जस्ट लाइक अनहैप्पी अबाउट इट,
Yeah.
और एक के बाद तो फीलिंग ही चलेगी ये गाने से,
Yeah. 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 I completely.
है ना। तो वो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अगर तुमने उसे एंजॉय नहीं किया, अगर तुमने उसको
Yeah.
म्यूजिक का क्यों कर रहे हो तुम, मतलब मैं तो इसलिए कर
Yeah.
रहा हूँ मुझे अच्छा लगे, और अगर मैं कहीं रिलीज कर रहा हूँ तो लोगों को अच्छा लगे, और वो जितना ज्यादा साफ हो, जितना ज्यादा ट्रांसपेरेंट हो,
Yes.
उतना बेटर।
Yeah. Yeah.
पर लेकिन वो इतना आप लगे ही रहोगे, आपका उसका दिमाग खराब हो गया है, आपका, आप पागल हो गए हो, आपने उसको ऐसे ले लिया है कि शिट, मतलब ये गाना मैं, ये ना मैं
इसको
करके,
मैं हाँ.
मतलब साइंस एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहा हूँ उस पे, ऐसा हो रहा है, तो ऐसे नहीं होगा यार।
I
वो
think it's very interesting you bring that up because within the short span of time that I've been releasing music, I've gone through the motions from doing it for the love of it to it becoming so mechanical that I was like, because initially, what was it? I wrote something, I made it, I realized I loved it. I wanted to have something out there that was mine, so I put it out. No expectations, nothing. Just for the love of it. Then came the responses from people, and then came the want for people to always like everything I put out, which is just not going to happen. And then there was the marketing bit of it, which became so mechanical, and I was like, shit, hai ye. Now it's not become just about the music anymore. It's become about so many other factors that are making the whole that are making the songs fika for me, which is
हम्म,
not something that I want. And my biggest goal with music has always been longevity. Like, I want to be doing this 20 years down the line and still love it just as much. I want it to thrill me just as much. I don't want it to become a job that now I'm like, shit, thank God I'm done with it now. Like, I can take a break. Like, that's not how I want it to be. That's exactly what I escaped when I escaped my corporate job and decided to do this full time. And when I saw it turning into that during releases is when I realized, bro, this is gonna get toxic real soon. This is not sustainable at all. You want to slow down and you want to remember, why you wrote the song in the first place and what the feeling was when you started writing it, when you started out writing it. So yeah, I think that's so important to make sure you know.
क्योंकि पता है लाइक व्हेन यू start getting into the whole industry part of things and the business part of it, हम हमारी जो मासूमियत है ना, वो कहीं ना कहीं खत्म होती जाती है। क्योंकि क्या होता है, मतलब दैट्स व्हाट आई हैव फिगर्ड कि लेटली बहुत सारे you know these music labels and people, they've started connecting and contacting and saying,
Right.
and now when you meet them and when you talk to them,
Mm.
it's a very interesting thing, okay, when you meet them, because you are doing it fully for your heart and fully for doing it पूरी जिंदगी, मतलब वही कि मतलब मुझे 20 साल बाद भी करना है सेम। आई थिंक जो भी लोग उसको ऑनेस्टली कर रहे हैं सबका यही अप्रोच है कि हमें करना है यार उसको। सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं है कि 2 साल म्यूजिक कर लिया एंड देन वी आर जस्ट ऑफ।
Yeah.
तो बट लाइक व्हेन दीज पीपल कॉन्टैक्ट यू, they have they just talk about the numbers first of all. Even if they don't, even if they show you that they are really interested in your art and they really want to, you know, do something with you, and you have such beautiful songs, we don't care about the numbers. At the end of the conversation, they like, you have this much, like these are your stats, and we pay you this for like these 4 songs, 5 songs, 8 songs, and we will be there when you're writing the song, when you're composing the song, when you're producing the song. We'll have a say in everything. We'll have a say in everything. And these are the people जो जिन्हें म्यूजिक पता ही नहीं है यार, म्यूजिक नहीं पता है, म्यूजिक नहीं पता है, मतलब जो फॉर एग्जाम्पल जिनको अगर आप रिदम बोलोगे कि ये रिदम है, तो वो बोलेंगे ये जो ऊपर जा रही है, ये जो सुर ऊपर जाता है,
right, that's their understanding, right?
That's their understanding, and then they will be judging your song, telling you if you can release it or not. और ये मतलब ये बहुत लोग इस बारे में बात भी करते हैं, बट ये हर जगह है यार, मतलब in every music label you'll meet these people only. They're not musicians, they are, मतलब they just analyze stuff.
Business.
ये
It's
और
just a business.
कैसे करोगे यार, जो हिट हो जाते हैं गाने, फॉर एग्जाम्पल जिनके स्ट्रीम ज्यादा हो जाते हैं, हिट तो वियर्ड वर्ड, बट जिनके स्ट्रीम ज्यादा हो जाते हैं, आपको भी पता होते हैं कि इसके क्यों ज्यादा हुए। फॉर्मूला, मतलब हम लोग कोई फॉर्मूला फॉलो नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि हमारा सोच बहुत फ्री है, बहुत इंडिपेंडेंट है। वो ऐसे हम अगर करने लगेंगे तो वी वोंट एंजॉय इट। ये सब तो होगा ही, और कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ डील्स you'll have to crack, you'll have to, क्योंकि you want to like earn out of it as well. But ये सब चीजों के बाद भी सेन रहना is really difficult. I think इसीलिए लोगों का विजन बहुत ज्यादा इधर उधर हो जाता है, क्योंकि क्योंकि वो ऐसी इतनी ज्यादा टेम्पटिंग डील्स आती है ना, कि पॉइंट यू लाइक कर लेते हैं, बट वो बहुत बहुत डिफिकल्ट है टू, बट बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट भी है, मतलब नहीं तो फिर कैसे डिफरेंशिएट कैसे करेंगे लोग किसी और के म्यूजिक में और किसी और के म्यूजिक से भी ज्यादा इंसान में यार, लाइक पीपल, मतलब लोग आपको प्यार इसलिए सिर्फ म्यूजिक के लिए नहीं करते हैं, मुझे लगता है, मतलब वो इसलिए भी करते हैं कि आप कौन हो, मतलब और वो ही चेंज हो जाएगा तो लोग फिर बोलेंगे कि क्या यार हम लोग क्या गलत।
Yeah, I think now that you say that, like I've been wanting to just have my listener base get to know me better on like a personal level. I mean, obviously it's up to me कि मेरे को कितना how much of myself I want to show. But one thing I realized when I was releasing a single, September Embers, was so it's an incredibly personal song driven by a very personal incident in my life. And when I was writing it and I was making it, it was just a song that I was making. But when the release time came around, I realized, shit, I'm sharing a very personal part of my aspect of my life. Am I ready to share that? I didn't even think about that until release time. And that's when I started thinking about how much of myself I want to share, and is me holding back sharing some parts of my aspect, me not being honest? Do I need to share everything about me? So I realized I wanted to do like these small little, vlog type things where I just put out things that I am able to record, just so that they know what I'm like to talk to, or like what I'm like with my friends, what it's like for me to sit and write music, just in like the most authentic way possible. So I've just started doing that because I feel like people only know, and my Instagram became so mechanical after a point कि I only started posting about work जब releases होते थे, जब गाना record करती थी. I stopped posting anything that said anything about me as an individual, how anything about my sense of humor or like how I am with friends, things like that. So I really want to.
sense of humor. I keep seeing your stories.
हाँ, I think that's the one medium जहाँ पे थोड़ा सा तो दिखता है. You see how because I've most of my experience has been online, even the way I think has become online oriented, ki like my vlogs, yeah, I'll get people to know me better. But yeah, I really want to do more live shows, intimate live shows.
But I think इस साल बहुत सारे होंगे hopefully.
Yeah.
All the
Yes. I look forward to being a part of one of your intimate gigs also. I hope I do.
हाँ यार please, I really want to do it, but अभी कुछ प्लान नहीं है. अभी I'm just focusing on the production part of things.
Right.
And कोई shows ऐसे आते हैं तो I'll just play them, but
Right.
not curating something.
Right. Actively.
But I will hopefully soon.
Yes.
और फिर मिलते हैं. But like this year नहीं, I think you'll release it by August.
I hope. There's so much work to be done. Oh my god.
But before the gig season.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Great. Even I'm planning a couple of music videos.
Yeah.
So like my plan is like purely focusing on the music videos now. मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा audios release किए हैं, but now like new songs with good music videos. So उसके लिए I'm working on them.
Right.
उनमें भी मतलब थोड़ा और ज़्यादा दिल दिखे, और ज़्यादा सिर्फ ऐसे प्रोडक्शन और सिर्फ ऐसे फेक क्यूट चीजें नहीं दिखे.
Right. Something real.
हाँ, कुछ रियल हो. ट्राई करते हैं कुछ तो.
I look forward. I look forward to a time in the future when hopefully I can work with you, because I would love to. I want to work on regional languages stuff. Like I am not very good. My mother tongue is Nepali, but I do want to write in that. But I just don't feel equipped enough. I feel like I need someone to support me there. Just the same feeling with Hindi. I feel like I need someone who's a lot more well versed with the language itself to kind of be with me through it. So maybe
let's do something in Nepali, yaar. I my show was planned in Nepal or lockdown.
Oh god.
31st April or something, और लॉकडाउन हो गया. और मैं इतना ऐसे सैड हुआ ना, क्योंकि मुझे नेपाल जाना है. नेपाल में बहुत लोग मेरा म्यूजिक सुनते हैं. मुझे ये रियलाइज हुआ बहुत टाइम बाद.
राइट.
और इट्स सो गुड. मुझे 100% नेपाली लैंग्वेज में एक गाना करना है.
Let's do it. We should do like a Hindi, Nepali, I don't know, some kind of whatever comes out of it. I'd absolutely love to. Oh my god. But I would also like to have like someone who speaks more fluent Nepali than me with us.
वो तो दोस्त होंगे ना, like कोई ना कोई तो होगा ही to support.
We'll get someone.
Done.
Love this, but I had so much fun talking to you, Osho. I hope we meet and get to chill also sometime.
Yeah, let's meet. You are in Bombay ना अभी. ये हमारा I think recording खत्म हो गया है ना.
हाँ. I think it's time. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you for joining us. हमने बहुत सारी बातें की. हमें पता भी नहीं हमने कहाँ हुआ है. But thank you for sticking around and please keep listening to our music. अनुष्का बहुत ही amazing singer-songwriter है. उसका एक EP भी आने वाला है. और बस मेरा भी थोड़ा बहुत कुछ म्यूजिक आने वाला है, तो आप प्लीज सुनते रहिए.
Thank you so much, Humming Heart, for putting this up. This has been lovely.
I think both of us love Humming Heart. मतलब मुझे लगता है पर्सनली कि कुछ मैगजीन्स और कुछ लोग जो बहुत ज्यादा दिल से म्यूजिक को प्रमोट कर रहे हैं, सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं,
and it shows.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys.
Thank you.